This is the second in a three-part video examining the idea of just what is a ghostwriter. So in the first video, we talked about what ghostwriters are not. In this video, we're going to talk about what ghostwriters do. So let me give you a couple of different definitions just to help you understand what it is that as ghostwriters we actually provide. So one way I like to refer to a ghostwriter is that we're editors for authors whose books are still in their heads. So whenever you tell people, if you were to tell people that you're an editor, well, that's a honorable job. That's a notable job. That's something interesting. But as an editor, what we're really doing is working on other people's ideas to refine and to polish them. But nobody has any problem with us being an editor. But if you were to tell people you're a ghostwriter, sometimes people have the idea that it's fraudulent. And as we examined in the first video, that's not what professional ghostwriting is about. Professional ghostwriting is not deceitful. Ghostwriting is really just being an editor for authors who have yet to write their books. For me, I find it easier to work with an author who has yet to write their book because we get to start fresh versus someone writing a manuscript and then coming to me and asking me to coach them through it or to edit it or to somehow figure out what it's lacking. What do we have to do to take this draft and turn it into a professional manuscript? So that's how I think of myself. I'm an editor for authors whose books are it's still in their head. Another way to think about a ghostwriter is the ghostwriter writes the book the author would have written if the author were also a professional writer. So my authors are subject matter experts. They're business thought leaders. So they are economists, they're CEOs, they are data analysts, they are brilliant in their respective domain. And a lot of them are decent writers in and of their own right. It's not that they can't put a couple of words together or a couple of sentences together. It's that they don't know how to create a professional manuscript. So they're a subject matter expert with their particular skill. I'm a subject matter expert in writing and publishing, and they hire me to help them create what they can't create. Another way to say that, probably easier, is just a ghostwriter is just a professional writer who's hired to write on the author's behalf. So, as we said in the first video, authorship is they are the thinker of the thoughts. It's their idea. The writer just takes those ideas and turns them into a manuscript. So if the ghostwriter works with the author, and again, like I said in the first video, I want you to concentrate on that word with, works with the author to create a professional manuscript. So what is a manuscript? Broadly speaking, it's a text document, Microsoft Word probably, of roughly 60,000 to 80,000 words. So whenever we boil everything else we boil everything down, and we're just looking at the very core essence of what it is to be a ghostwriter. A ghostwriter creates manuscripts, and manuscripts are just these text documents. They're not, full books. It's a document. Just text. We're not graphic artists. We're not illustrators. We are writers. Roughly 60 to 80,000 words. That's generally what most publishers want for a book. Now, the size of that is gonna vary by genre, by publisher, by project. A lot of my authors are self-published. They don't care about how thick their book is. They care about how good their book is. And a lot of them are looking for shorter books that people can pick up in the airport in Los Angeles and finish by the time they touch down in New York. So sometimes, and especially in business, you don't have to have books quite that long. Some publishers, they're fine with 60,000 words. I'm working with a publisher right now that requires 70,000. And then there are some publishers that have more of an academic audience, and for them, they're used to working with books that are 100 or 120. I think one of them was even maybe 150,000 words. That's a lot for the trade audience, but they're not selling to the trade audience. They're selling to a specific audience. So, at a very base level, that's all ghostwriters are.